The sound of my daughter screaming Atlas. Atlas still echoes in my mind, not the scared kind of scream either, but the kind that shatters something inside you. That woman dragged my daughter's PTSD service dog away in broad daylight right from our front yard like she owned the world. What she didn't know, what nobody in our picture-perfect neighborhood could have guessed, was that she'd just committed a federal crime against the wrong damn family. And what happened next, let's just say Willowbrook Estates, was never the same again. I'm Mitchell Reeves. I told my neighbors I was a retired government contractor, did some security consulting, traveled a lot, sounded vague enough to keep conversations short and suspicions low. What I didn't say was that I was deep undercover. DEA. My assignment: investigate suspected money laundering running through upscale HOAs. Willowbrook was supposed to be routine. It wasn't. My daughter Sarah, 8 years old, whip smart, brave as hell, had been through more than most adults could handle. A drunk driver took her mom 2 years ago and left her shaken to the core. PTSD doesn't even begin to cover it. Nightmares, panic attacks, public breakdowns. It was hell. Until Atlas. A German shepherd with amber eyes and a heart as big as the moon. Atlas was more than a pet, he was Sarah's lifeline. Trained for PTSD response and secretly for narcotics detection under DEA certification. But of course the neighbors only saw a dog. Most anyway. Then came Vivian Ashworth. Vivian ruled the HOA like some suburban queen. Big house, perfect lawn, always in heels, always watching. Something about her was off. Too polished, too informed. She knew things she shouldn't, not just gossip, but legal codes, federal regs, pressure points that most lawyers wouldn't touch unless paid by the hour. And she hated Atlas from day one. The first real clash came at the park. Sarah was playing fetch with Atlas, laughing. Actually laughing, and Vivian strutted up with that fake smile that never reached her eyes. She announced loud enough for every parent to hear that my animal situation needed to be addressed. I looked up from my phone, keeping it casual, but my gut tightened. She wanted full documentation on Atlas vet records, handler certifications, everything, and gave me 72 hours. Sarah started panicking right there. Atlas responded instantly, pressing against her, grounding her, doing exactly what he was trained to do, while Vivian watched like she enjoyed the show. Over the next week, the letters started. Certified, formal, absurd. She wasn't just guessing, she knew which federal subsections to cite. It was surgical personal. She was testing me, digging, trying to rattle something loose. Then came the second confrontation out by the mailboxes. She hinted at federal verification and implied that Atlas might be more than just a therapy dog. That's when I knew she was either connected to something or bluffing with dangerous precision. Then she crossed the line again, looked right at Sarah and said, maybe this community would be better served if certain children learned to cope without crutches. Yeah, she said that. About a little girl who watched her mother die. That's when I stopped seeing Vivian as a nosy HOA president and started viewing her as a threat. And threats, I deal with them. Her next move was surveillance, clipboard in hand, documenting our every move, tracking our walks, even waiting outside our house during Atlas's training sessions. It was excessive, professional even. She anticipated our routines, used our vulnerabilities like a playbook. I had contacts, dig into her. Turns out Vivian paid cash for her mansion, had suspicious real estate income, and get this, every family she'd pushed out of Willowbrook owned a dog. Every single one. She used bylaws like weapons and hid cruelty behind policy. But she made her real move while I was away. An urgent security consult pulled me out of town. I left Sarah with Mrs. Chen, our neighbor's teenage daughter. It was supposed to be routine, check a lead, return by morning. But 3 hours later, I got the call. She took him. Mrs. Chen sobbed. Vivian took Atlas. I stopped breathing. She'd shown up with 2 men claiming to be health department officials. Badges, paperwork, the whole act. Claimed Atlas was a health risk. Said they were taking him for evaluation. It was a lie, a bold, calculated, disgusting lie. Sarah was mid-panic attack, screaming for Atlas. Mrs. Chen was in tears, and I was 200 miles away with rage boiling in my chest. I made the call. Not to the cops. To someone most people don't even know exists. This is Reeves, I said. Federal asset compromised. Impersonation, abduction, threat to minor under protection. I want eyes in the sky in 3 minutes. And I got them. Tactical teams descended on Willowbrook like a summer storm. Trucks, agents, aerial surveillance, all of it. And you know what broke me? When Mrs. Chen whispered, Sarah just asked if you called the army. And I told her something like that. By the time I made it back, Atlas had been recovered, found in a van with restraint cages and forged transport docks. The men who took him in custody, Vivian screaming about rights and warrants. She didn't realize the man she thought was just a quiet neighbor with too many phones was Special Agent in Charge Mitchell Reeves. Her face when she saw me in tactical gear unforgettable. She cracked quick, spilled everything. The HOA wasn't just a community association, it was a front. Vivian had been laundering millions through inflated fees and fake improvement projects. Drug money cleaned through neighborhoods like ours, protected by HOA regulations nobody questioned. And the dogs. She got rid of them all. Detection risk. Atlas was the one she couldn't shake, until she tried. She's now serving 15 years money laundering, impersonation, theft of federal property, endangerment of a minor. 43 arrests followed her confession. 17 communities dismantled. Willowbrook freed, reorganized, and for the first time in years, peaceful. As for Sarah, she's healing. Slowly but surely. Therapy helps. Atlas helps more. We walk past Vivian's now empty house sometimes, and Sarah will look up at me and ask, "Do you think she's sorry?" I always tell her, "I think she's sorry she got caught." And that's the truth. So what do you think was justice served? Or do you believe there's more to a neighborhood than meets the eye? Drop your thoughts below, especially if you've ever dealt with HOA madness yourself. Let's talk about what's fair, what's foul, and what it really means to protect what matters.